Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. BlessedWithDysfunction.com. That is the website I'm urging you all to visit right now before we start the show. BlessedWithDysfunction.com. We're talking to the owner of that website and friend of the show, Jake Graves, or Jacob Graves, as we call him. And he's really someone who's just very special. We've been talking for months now, and he's blessed, he's focused, and he's helping so many people self master themselves in a sense, and to really help those live their best lives, because that's what he's here to do. That's his purpose in this world, in this life. And I just got to say hello and good to see you again. How are you?
I'm great, Jill. It's good to talk to you again.
You too. And by the way, he has
Yeah.
like the most amazing radio like voice ever. And maybe that's in your career. A future. Do you sing by any chance?
When I'm alone,
When
in
you're
the
alone,
shower, in the
he's
car
got
or
that
something
deep,
like
like
that. Yeah.
country like voice. Well, anyway, Jacob, thank you for being here. Visions of Self Mastery. Please introduce yourself to everyone.
Yes. So as you mentioned, my name is Jacob. I go by Jake sometimes, but it doesn't really matter to me. I am the owner of Visions of Self Mastery. Really like to tell you guys about what I like to do for people. So I design Visions of Self Mastery to help aid in transformation. Highly recommend my clients to slow down in all aspects possible so that they can learn to utilize and augment the richness of time. I never try to show people how far they are from where they want to be. I simply help them to realize the strength, beauty, utility, and the steps they take towards their goals from this moment on. And from that moment on, consider me right next to you while you are facilitating action and taking those steps, for providing you with the tools you need to get past obstacles, keeping you focused and celebrating small victories in between. So, I guess what really took me this way, I got into um I guess a couple different experiences. I was an addict. I got into a car accident, had some brain trauma, and I've just always been a little socially distant, kind of distant natured person. I've isolated myself a little bit, and that really caused me a lot of just negative attributes to my health. And I've always really asked myself, like, why do you want to do what you're out to do? And I've always wondered, I guess, what my most driving factor was.
Mm-hmm.
And um, it's really to figure out why people struggle so much. Like, what is the real cause of suffering? So I've really dedicated my life to trying to figure out what I can do to really help people. That's all I'm after, is to really help people. I really like to learn though, so me doing what I'm doing, I enjoy it. I thoroughly enjoy it, but the real reward is from seeing my clients and seeing the people I work with, and really just meeting people along the way, and seeing them in an enlightened state after I've talked to them, or after I've given them a little advice. That's really where all of this becomes worth it. So I really like to help people with stress. Um, I help people to implement stress relieving techniques into their daily schedule, as well as help them, like I said, to slow down in life and be present in the moment, and to engulf their senses into the moment. Tying your senses together in the present moment lays grounds for long-term memories to develop. So that's really, someone has asked me before, why do I remember the bad times over the good times? And I answered, not word for word or anything, but um, essentially, when something is bad, when you're going through a really bad situation, you're very aware of everything that's going on. You're aware that this is happening, and that I'm in pain, and that just, I don't know. I guess if I try to describe a situation, it would help. But I just feel like that the good times people kind of take advantage for. They take advantage of. They take for granted because everything feels good, so they don't slow down in the moment and realize how good everything actually is right now. So that's something I really try to get people to realize is, just be conscious of the good times and the bad times. Um, I really like to help people. I've really started to get into helping people with self-regulation. And I call it biophysiological self-regulation. But before I get into that, I feel like I should, because it's based off targeting your autonomic nervous system. Um, so I feel like I should tell you a little bit about that. The main job of the autonomic nervous system is to remain aware and responsive to changes in our external and internal environments, as well as shifting us from a state of agile arousal for high impact situations to a calm restorative state so we can rest and recover. Your sympathetic nervous system prepares the body for action and stress, which is your fight or flight. Your parasympathetic calms the body and conserves energy. So, with that being said, there are techniques that you can do, like widening your horizon, which I actually think I've told you about, to stimulate your parasympathetic nervous system, which calms you down. And what you want to do is essentially look forward, but whatever room, or if you're in your car or something like that, like you would want to try to see the the doors or the walls
Yep.
on the side. So, and that really does calm you down, and it's really fascinating. Another way to calm down is slow pranayama, and which is like a breathing technique. You just take your pinky
Do it
and
again.
you
Where
would
do you
do
put the pinky? Where does it go to?
you just put your pinky on your nostril and
On the
close your
one
nostril.
side.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, and then you will take a deep breath in, and you can just alternate. And you should know something that really helped me. When you breathe in, your heart rate actually speeds up. So that actually will put you into a state of like hyperactivity. So when you breathe out, your heart rate slows down. So if you learn to really, I guess, kind of play with it and see where your medium is, how you need to breathe
Mm-hmm.
so you can be comfortable and um, low if you really get good at it, I feel like it really helps with anxiety and stress, especially if you learn to remain aware of when you're actually feeling anxious and stressed, and you can say, okay, I'm feeling a little off right now, so I need to take a couple deep breaths, and that actually really helps me. That's something I realize. I'm a very anxious person, to be honest with you guys, and um, I realized probably a couple months ago that I wasn't breathing right. I was so
Mm.
anxious and so scared um, that, I mean, I wasn't breathing. It was like I was holding my breath,
Mm.
and that actually activates your fight or flight senses. So, um, for if you want to get yourself in more of a high active or like if you're trying to do a high intense activity, on the other hand, high frequency, shallow breaths and holding your breath will activate your sympathetic nervous system, preparing you for action. So something like this would be good to do before like a workout, or if you're about to go for a run or something like that, this would be something good for you to do. Something else I really like is cold therapy. Um, Cold therapy initiates the sympathetic nervous system, producing a whole body reaction affecting multiple organ systems, cell signaling, leading to changes in gene expression, your immune system, and it also converts white fat to brown fat, which induces metabolic changes. So you can really speed up your metabolism this way. And there's countless other effects with cold therapy. It's very interesting. Um, Something else I'm very big into is disease prevention because, like I said earlier, I like to try to figure out, why the world struggles and why everyone suffers so much. And I feel like we are very caught up, and sometimes a lot of us are sick, and we struggle with things. And I feel like the biggest driving factors of disease are poor nutrition, inflammation, depression, genetics, irregular sleep patterns, toxins, stress, trauma, isolation. So I feel like if I can really just get to know my clients a little bit and to really understand their lifestyle, then I can really begin to help not only inform them, but help them to really just not really take care of themselves, but in a way, I guess teach them tools they need to lower the threshold of where these things could survive and where these things could flourish. And I guess just to give people a good friend. Because I feel like that's also a very important a part of life is, just having friends, having people you can talk to and connecting. So I just really want to be there for everybody, as many people as I possibly can. Um, so another thing I would like to tell you guys about today is your gut brain connection. So your gut brain connection, the factors that affect the gut brain connection are unfriendly bacteria and yeast in the gut, fermentation of starches from your diet, which produce a um, toxic levels of ammonia in your stomach, partially digested food proteins that interfere with normal digestion and that produce a morphine-like compound that causes addiction in the brain. Gluten and dairy are major culprits. So one suggestion I have for that would be really just to slow down when you eat and enjoy your meals and to chew your food well. Um, the damaged gut, damaged brain. Um, Standard American diet, food allergies, nutritional deficiencies, prescription medications, and stress. Um, and an overgrowth of yeast. And yeast loves sugar, by the way. A way to start healing gut dysfunction. This is a pretty good ratio, 75% plant-based foods. Make sure you're getting your omega-3 fish oils and probiotics. Develop a good stress relief practice, and antifungal herbs will help that. Um, our GI tract is very interesting. It helps and it does so much. I was crazy when I started to learn about it. I used to really not take care of my stomach at all. And when I realized that and I started realizing why I had so much anxiety and why I was so scared. Um, but it helps synthesize, I have trouble saying this word, excuse me, synthesize vital chemicals for bodily functions. It helps regulate the immune system, and it actually has its own nervous system that regulates neurotransmitters and hormones. That's called your enteric nervous system. It is a massively important organ system. The brain and stomach communicate through this enteric nervous system. The stomach has neurotransmitters just as the brain does. The enteric nervous system is a branch of the autonomic nervous system. It is highly intelligent, constantly pumping information to the central nervous system through the parasympathetic nervous system and the sympathetic. This nervous system is constantly analyzing the state of the GI tract. It's important to mention how sensitive the gastrointestinal tract is to emotions. If something is off within your GI tract, then it will immediately signal the central nervous system, rapidly reaching your brain where it will then be processed as ill emotion. I'm sure you've heard of butterflies in your stomach, or more common, just nervous stomach. The brain and the gut are supposed to live in harmony. However, the lives we live don't always support that. Um, there is a diet I learned about. It's called the Happy Gut Diet, and it's it I guess the name could be CARE, and it stands for cleanse, activate, restore, and enhance. When you're cleansing, you want to remove the gut irritants, sensitivities, and toxins. When you're activating, you want to reactivate healthy digestion by reintroducing essential nutrients and enzymes. Restoring, reintroducing beneficial bacteria for a healthy gut flora. And enhance stands for repairing, regenerating, and healing the intestinal lining. So One tip for a cleanse I would like to recommend is adding honey, fresh lemon juice, and cayenne to warm water once a day. This is really good to do in the morning. And if you get local local honey actually can help you with your allergies too. Mm, So that's just one extra benefit. And all the lemon and the vitamin C stuff that will actually really help your skin as well. Um, to activate, use a hypoallergenic protein powder. Chew your food well, eat slowly, grab a digestive enzyme supplement, or implement foods containing natural enzymes into your diet, like pineapple, papaya, mango, honey, bananas, avocado. There's kefir, sauerkraut, kimchi, miso, kiwi, and ginger as well. Some nutrients for gut health are B vitamins, iron, vitamin C, vitamin D, selenium, zinc, magnesium, and omega 3s. So, for the restore side of things, a good way to restore your gut and reinforce beneficial bacteria is with foods such as kefir, sauerkraut, kimchi, miso, legumes, onions, asparagus, oats, bananas, as these foods are loaded with prebiotics. To enhance, increase your intake of high fiber foods. Reduce refined carbs, continue prebiotic and probiotic consumption, learn to self regulate and cope with stress in a healthy manner, and reduce alcohol use. So I I have, let's see, excuse me. I have 12 ways to create health in your life. That's what today's topic was all was kind of centered towards, was how to get people to learn to create health in their life. And that's something that actually really changed my life, to be honest. I used to study all this disease and disorder pathology and all this crazy stuff, trying to figure out the world's problems and my problems. And I noticed when I stopped focusing on what was wrong with me and when I started really trying to create health for myself and trying to really just take stock of where I was and just say, okay, instead of focusing on the negative, I'm going to be more positive. And that really made a big difference in my life. So I just want to give you guys some tips that I've learned along the way. Um, I call it big goals, incremental steps. So a couple things you could do is experiment with drinking more water. You could practice cooking at home, switch to a good whole grain, boost your intake of naturally sweet vegetables, such as carrots and beets, add more leafy green vegetables to your plate, eat fewer highly processed foods, try eating your meals mindfully, and make a habit of nurturing your mind and body. Prioritize sleep and get some non deep sleep rest, engage in regular movement, nourish your relationships, and try a spiritual practice.
And you mentioned the mind body connection is so important to everyone
Yes.
as well. And when you say spiritual practice, even I know meditation is something you believe in as well, right? And we've talked about that in the
Definitely.
past, but something spiritual to kind of calm you, to ground you. And what do you recommend for that each and every day?
So, I used to be a very heavy meditator, but I don't believe it really has to be like that. Whatever, I think you just have to figure out, I guess, what is good for you, because everybody's different, everybody's unique, and some things that work for me won't work for you. But something that does work for me is I just I have really learned to breathe mindfully and to just sit and to sit in silence. And I do pranayama. I just take some deep breaths and I really just try to sit with myself and I try to listen to what is going on in my head. If I'm having some racing thoughts, I'll try to figure them out, and hear what they're saying, hear what's going on, and try to just understand. Um, And that's meditation that's meditation to me. But I used to be, like I said earlier, I used to be a very deep meditator, and I would listen to frequencies and try to really like change the way my brain was working, like alter my brain waves and try to induce different brain states. Um, but I don't think it has to be. I don't think it has to be like that. I think you just need to figure out what's good for you and what you like and what's comfortable. Because meditation shouldn't be something that you look down on, or it's like, dang it, I got to meditate. It's that time. Um, it's something that's very refreshing and something you should look forward to, because it really it's just so grounding, um, and it really helps you to just focus your energy. Um, I find myself sometimes, I'll have so much energy and I'll be racing around so much, and it's like I'll feel kind of like I just don't know what to do. I don't know if you guys ever feel like that, but it's like I just have so much energy that I can't focus it on one thing. So, and I find that meditation really helps me with that. Um, but really, guys, I recommend just finding a quiet place and either just doing some deep breathing, whether it's an actual routine or not. Just do what feels comfortable to you. And something I've noticed is that if you do develop a relationship with your heart, your heart will let you know what is good for your body or not. You'll be able to feel. It gets very intense, and it's like your heart will almost start to tell you, okay, breathe in now. Okay, breathe out now. It's like, so whatever is good for your body, meditation will show you like how to work with your body. I think it's really good in facilitating a connection with your body, the mind body connection. I think that's a great thing. Um, so yeah. Any other questions about meditation? I know I kind of jumped around a little bit.
No, it's okay. I jump around too all the time. That's what I do. But anything else that we could do to kind of get us connected, spiritual people, maybe say we don't meditate, we don't, is there anything? Some people journal, some people do other types of activities to kind of get that connection. What other things do you suggest besides meditation?
Okay. I think journaling is great. Journaling is really a great way to also focus your energy. But so there's a frequency I always really like that always really helped me, and it's you can look up a theta isochronic or a binaural beat, and this helps get you into an unconscious state. So for people that struggle with meditation, this could really help induce you into a deeper mind state that could help promote a good meditation. But for people that want to be a little bit more active, I'm kind of coming into this way of I don't want to sit down to meditate. I'm more of like a moving meditation. I do Tai Chi, I do Qigong, um, and these are very good ways to get to know yourself, and to also it's just very meditative at the same time. Um, I really like martial arts as well. So I think there's a big connotation on how meditation's supposed to be. There's like, and I think when people think of meditation, they think of like monks and stuff, up meditating in monasteries and stuff. And it may not be like that, but everyone I've talked to seems to think that meditation has to be, it's like black or white or something. It has to be just you sitting in a dark room for hours, days upon end, and just not no social interaction, um, very light lifestyle, and it's just I just don't believe it has to be that way. I think it's meditation can be whatever you need it to be, honestly. And like I said earlier, I kind of feel like that I'm moving into a state where activity is more of a meditation to me. I find that when I'm running, when I go run in the mornings, I find that when I really get in tune with my breath, that my breath, I don't know, it's like it makes me feel kind of meditative, because like I said earlier, I have racing thoughts a little bit, and I notice that when I'm running, all my thoughts go away. And it's like, I just feel like I'm in the flow and I'm just there. I don't know. And it feels really good. Another good thing for people to do is, express yourself. You could do some art, whether it's drawing or painting or making music. There's all kinds of good things to do in context of expressing yourself. But those are a couple really good things to do.
Thank you for
Yeah.
that. All right. And we still have just 3 minutes left here on the clock. Jake, what else do you want to share about you and your services before we do have to go?
Let's see. I would just really like to urge you guys to, I guess, to something, I guess, something about me is I really try to, and I may be too hard on myself in this aspect, but I really try to always figure out what I'm doing that I shouldn't be doing. Like what is it that I'm doing that is delaying my progress or that is dimming my health, dimming my light. So I guess ask yourself if you feel ready, ask yourself to really just take stock and to figure out, what is the things that you're doing in your life that you could subtract that would ultimately create a positive. So I guess just look at your guys' lifestyle, look at what your guys doing, look at where you're consuming, and definitely do not diminish yourself though. Do not beat yourself up for the things you're doing that you shouldn't be doing.
Yeah. Perfectly said. All right, Jake, we want to reach out to you to chat. Would you mind sharing all forms of contact?
Yes. So my Instagram is selfmastery3. My website is blessedwithdysfunction.com. And my number and my email is all attached to my website. So you guys can get a hold of me there. Yeah, reach out to me. Reach out to me, guys. I'd love to work with you guys.
Perfect. Thank you so much for joining us, for being here, and hope your summer's going well. We just came back from vacation. That's why I missed you for 2 weeks, but it's good to have to be back, to be grounded again. Feels good to be back into the flow and the motion, to hear your soothing voice again does, and to speak to you again. You're such a kind soul, really, Jake. We appreciate it. You have a great day. To all of our listeners and viewers, thank you. Stay tuned. More of the show is on the way.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.